1998 as the pioneer of mystery shopping in India and now has become one of the largest, most sought after and dynamic provider of customer experience solution in Asia today. Kapil has had the distinction of being one of the youngest chartered accountants in India. Over to you, Kapil.
Thank you very much, and a very warm welcome to all of you. A very, very good morning. This is going to be a fantastic panel. We have the stalwarts of the industry talking about the influx of technology in their restaurant business. Without a much ado, I'm going to call upon Raoul Singh, the president and founder, CEO of NRAI and the Beer Cafe. Let's have a clap for him. A professional turned entrepreneur. Raoul is the founder and CEO of Beer Cafe, India's favorite beer chain. Holds the position of the president of NRAI. He's a gizmo freak, a single malt collector, although he loves his beer. I can tell you that by my recent trip with him to Munich. A marathon runner, an avid biker, a certified scuba diver. I didn't know that about you, so maybe next time, huh? Next, let me call upon one of my favorite brands. My kids love it. Subway. Ranjit Talwar, the country director, South Asia. Subway. Hands-on experience in the restaurant industry, supports the growth of Subway franchise network, consumer base across India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Welcome, Ranjit. Samir Chopra, the chairman of Cybiz Corp. Welcome, Sam. Again, a chartered accountant, much younger than me, with a career spanning over 30 years of diverse experience, numerous successful entrepreneurial assignments under his belt. The group represents brands like Remax, Carl's Jr. in India, a staunch supporter of empowerment through education and long-term vision to be a proactive contributor to the society. Blame no one, expect nothing, and do something. That's his mantra. Saransh Goyla, who heads Goyla's Butter Chicken. I have been teasing him since morning, Mr. Butter Chicken. He said, I have a name as well. I said, well, that's your new name. So at 31, he's an inspiration to all aspiring chefs of India, a maverick in his own right. As a youngster, his dream was to become an actor. So Saransh decided to marry his two passions, acting and cooking. Amongst his growing repertoire is his appearance in the recent MasterChef Australia, where contestants had to replicate his signature dish of Goyla Butter Chicken. And I have Vipin Gupta, the head of IT at KFC. Vipin has an experience of over 15 years in digital and technology experience, an apt person for today's session, and is currently the head of digital at KFC. And in his role is helping KFC to drive the digital transformation process, including use of emerging technologies and manning technology as a function. So while I start, I'm just going to share a very quick experience that I had in the year 1998. I was in Japan, and one of my clients had invited me to a restaurant. It had almost around 50, 60 odd tables. And what was intriguing is that they had only 4 to 5 waiters or servers. And I was expecting, I would have to raise my hand every time I would need something. And my client, he just passed the menu to me and he said, you can choose your entrees. Interestingly, the moment I put my hand on one of the items that I had shortlisted or selected, kaboom, that is where the waiter arrived from nowhere. And I was like, wow, Japan in technology and digital. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But what was intriguing for me was to figure out how is this guy appearing from nowhere. So by the time I was ordering for the main course, that is when I was looking under the table and trying to figure out and see where this guy is going to come up. And again on the menu, the moment I was finalizing what I was going to order for, again from nowhere this guy appeared. So by the time I was ordering for my desserts, I was like, I'm going to make sure this time I catch hold of this person and maybe try to poke a finger in him and see if is he a digital avatar. And this was again 1998. It was not 2018, like 20 years ago. So by the third time when this guy again pops up from nowhere, I had to ask this client of mine, how does he know that I finalized my order? And I know that there are only 4 or 5 people serving this entire restaurant, but we didn't even have to wave our hand. And he said, Kapil, it's very simple. Every table has a call button. So by the time you finalize something, I just press the button. The guys are standing at the corner. They look at table number 3 and they just come out here in a jiffy. So I think that was one of the most basic uses of technology. But now we're in 2018. I think things have transformed and gone to a different level altogether. So I'm going to take the seat and I'm going to start asking questions. I'm going to grill my panelists as much as I can, although I believe that they are so hands-on and experts in their own way, but I'm sure they're going to give a lot of information and share their experiences with us. So I'll take my seat. So Rahul, you're going to be the first person that I'm going to ask a question to. I remember one experience at the beer cafe, and I think this is one of your outlets, where I just had an app and I just went to one of your taps. I just tapped on something. Everything was seamless. There was no intervention. It was very frictionless, very seamless. So I think you've really embedded technology from a consumer perspective. Could you share something about that?
So we call ourselves a tech company selling beer or serving beer. That's what if you look at our information memorandum that we go around raising more capital every time that we have to go back to the market, it's always talking about being the tech side to the beer industry. But we see tech as two fronts. So one is the consumer front, which you discussed about. The other is obviously the back end stuff, which is far more critical for us. But on the front end stuff, because we are catering towards the more millennial and the younger population here, they are very tech savvy and they want to have tech in their hands. Literally, we see tables with 4 people actually all using their phones. Though we encourage that you come here to actually de-stress yourself, you should be having a beer. But what we realize is that people are coming in and they're still on their phone. Even family members, we've seen everybody on the phone. So we realize if the phone's what is your identity today, why don't we take it to the next step? So we have an app, which is one of the most downloaded apps in our industry. We have about 250,000 users. These are not downloads, but active users, because we have everything on the app that you can do. You can have your own bar on the app, and you can have the same product across India, across every cafe. But the one we discussed about was called PYOB, which is called Pour Your Own Beer. We just have it in 2 outlets. It's a very expensive technology because it has hydraulics linked with software along with the app. So we're talking about 3 servers talking to each other in a tech world. From a perspective that your app is on a separate server, because your app is always online. You have a QR code which is dynamic in nature, because you can't copy your QR code. It's like your money could be stolen by somebody else. So there's a whole cyber security involved. It talks to the server which pulls the beer, which is a hydraulic fluid technology, which then talks to a point of sale at the same time, which gives you the invoice, because as per law, every time you serve liquor, the invoice has to be generated there and there. It all happens in nanoseconds at the same time. And 3 different servers in 3 different continents talking to each other at the same time. And we're talking about in malls where bandwidth is an issue. You have IT network, which is still copper. It's shared. Half the time it's not working. We don't have fiber in most of the locations in India, but we're working around it. And that's what I'm saying. As, let's say the pipe gets better or the bandwidth gets better in India, technology is something, and I think, we've heard about how Jio has transformed the way people use mobiles. And I believe that they're coming up with broadband, which is going to be far more critical. I was reading about 5G yesterday, and it's just unbelievable. So if we do not embrace technology towards the consumer and also how we actually operate our businesses, I think we'll be dinosaurs very soon. So it's a cockroach mentality more than the dinosaurs that we need to look at it. We have to survive this onslaught of technology that is actually... So let's not be shy about tech. Let's kind of embrace tech, and I can tell you will be very successful in what you do.
So a tech company serving beer is what you said. And I think what you call your miles is brew miles, right? So what a person earns is brew miles. Fantastic. So Ranjit, over to you. Subway, I think you're close to 700 odd outlets, or touching 700 outlets in India. And I remember the yesteryears when Subway just entered into India. Now you'll be hitting the 1,000 mark in the next 2-3 years. I'm sure the role of technology, not only at the consumer's level, but right from your franchisees, your development agents, to your supply chain, to your logistics. I'm sure you guys thrive on technology, which is the unseen part that customers don't see. So can you share something how you've embedded it into your digital DNA in Subway?
So we all live in an interesting time. People like me, and I'm sure there'll be a few out over there, who have a vitamin T pill every day in the morning with breakfast. So yes, it's an interesting time. I guess the bottom line for all of us is that we want a profitable growth in transactions. We want our guests to experience a safe food environment. That's the bottom line for all of us. How does technology come in? For us, if at Subway we break it down into three different segments. One, obviously, the guest facing, which Rahul also spoke about. There is the restaurant end of technology, and there is the supply chain end of technology. Let's look at from a restaurant end, because that's the first one. You have to create a digital restaurant. How do you train people? How do you take inventories? How do you do your expense management or equipment healthcare? And how do you leverage technology on that? Today, if I look at it, my franchisees have that solution available on a mobile device. How do you monitor your guest feedback? You have social media. Samir talked about the social media in his slides. How do you integrate social media into your guest listening? There is feedback coming in through the restaurant. Is there something available out there as technology which can cook up all this information and give you a pinpointed direction? And maybe help you figure out where you need to target that restaurant on. That's where Subway comes in with this little bit of technology with the help of companies like Capgemini or Accenture or Medallia. And we do have solutions which a franchisee today can use. What's interesting from a supply chain is how do you integrate your spec sheet? Every recipe has a specification. How do you integrate that spec sheet with the point of delivery, which is the restaurant? How do you ensure that what you have put in your spec sheet is what is getting delivered to the restaurant? That's again where technology comes in to help us, specifically with what's available today in terms of data logging or spec management. It's fairly easy to do. It's just putting the phases correctly in the correct sequence. It's like solving a Rubik's Cube. You just have to put the correct pieces first. And that's what we're currently doing.
Thanks, Ranjit. So before I move to Sam, I'm going to request to play a video. So this was something that I was just doing a research on the global trends in terms of who's using technology and at what level. And I think one important element, that all our panelists out here, and including the consumers and users out here need to, and I think all of you will agree with this, is that the timing of technology is as crucial as what technology it is, because sometimes too late or too early, the adoption really doesn't happen. So I'm going to play this video that I would like all of you guys to see. This is a concept in the US, and would like to just share what it is.
At Spice, we set out to create a new style of restaurant. We wanted to bring amazing meals to people at a more affordable price point.
Each meal is made to order in 3 minutes or less, starting at $7.50.
When we were 4 MIT students, we couldn't really find a decent meal at an affordable price point. As robotics-obsessed engineers, we set out to create a new, efficient way of cooking food. From our humble starts in our fraternity basement, we developed a prototype that really sort of proved we could build something that can create delicious, high-quality meals.
Our woks cook by constantly tumbling your food, which provides a really nice and even sear. They're heated with induction, and we have temperature control to perfectly cook your meal every time.
When we we knew we needed some culinary excellence to really bring this restaurant concept to life.
I'd heard of Danielle, and I knew that he was one of the top chefs in the world, and I decided to try to guess his email address. A few weeks later, I got a response.
Receiving this note from Michael, I was curious. A robotic kitchen was something that puzzled me a little bit. I needed to come to Boston. I discovered that the robotic kitchen brings precision, consistency, taste, and also freshness to the preparation. To complete the team, Spice needed an executive chef. And I found in Sam Benson his experience with me as executive sous chef at Café Boulu, also his experience in fast casual, was a very good fit.
Danielle and I, we're taking a very vegetable-focused menu, complex, delicious, and nutritious meals, being able to transfer it to the Spice Robotic Kitchen.
Spice was created to be affordable, tasty, and nutritious.
I really hope that our customers will leave feeling that they've gotten delicious, exciting, and amazing meal at a really affordable price point.
So restaurants of the future, you never know when you'll be seeing something like this coming up from some of these restaurant owners. Sam, moving to you. So, there's some basics today that every restaurant owner, every restaurateur needs to have in place, right from their employee management to running the show, to the voice of the customer, to feedback today, as Ranjit also mentioned a few of those points. From your experience, what are the must-haves from a technology, embedding, digital transformation perspective that you've been able to embed in your restaurants?
Kapil, I'm going to take the liberty of digressing a little bit.
Go ahead.
Because I know that Ranjit has spoken and Vipin will speak on everything that we are doing. Essentially, between Subway and KFC and Carl's Jr., we pretty much have the entire technology automated from right from the back office to the middle of the house to the front of the house and the back of the house. So we've got all
reason, except once only out of, I don't know, thousands of mystery shop activities we've done in the last few years, only once he could be recognized, and then couple actually gave us back the money for that particular shop. But then you cannot recognize. So that's first one. Secondly, is it's used in a way that while the mystery shopper is writing his data or recording or whatever he or she is doing, it's very discreet. They have some technology or some app, you can't even see it. So while that recording is going on, it's without a phone, or it's got a phone. I don't know how it works, but the video is taken. So we are very sure that the transaction happened, to the point that the mystery shopper has to go into the toilets to make sure it's clean to every aspect. Now, how it's helped us is on the infrastructure to start with. So infrastructure is one section of the whole mystery shop. It does help us because it tells us what's going wrong and right. Is the signage on? Is this on? That on? And then the soft side to it. Was I served well? Was there a smile? Was the uniform right? What all? And all that helps. And this is all on a weighted average. If you look at it, it goes into about 10 pages. Each mystery audit is 10 pages. All a lot of data. And the good news is that mystery shopper is also spending money. So it's not like a guy who's just, sitting there for a beer. I think an average spend is about 2,000 rupees. I was told yesterday. That's a lot of money. So we also make money out of the mystery shopper in a way, because we actually also, having a ticket which is 2,000 rupees for that mystery shopper. And that mystery shopper is maybe a person or a couple or even a family sometimes, I don't know. I've never been able to notice. I've tried my best to figure out who this mystery shopper is, and there's none. And I've told couple, please make me a mystery shopper for some other brand, because I'd love to. But unfortunately, not restaurant. Most people would recognize me. But somewhere like a spa maybe, that'll be a good place to go. And a mystery shopper spa, it'll be the best place to go to. So I'm just saying, it really, really, really helps. I was not a strong believer, and it really changed my mind. And I've actually been able to even introduce this or kind of recommend this to a lot many other of our, partners in this industry, or let's say the fraternity, because it really, really helps. It tells you what's going on. It's as simple as that.
So just one point that I wanted to make, since you mentioned this question, our mystery shopping approach is not a fault finder, it's a fact finder. And at the end of the day, how can we empower the restaurant, the manager, the area manager to take the service level up to the next level? So just imagine a staff who does not know who the mystery shopper is. He would be serving everyone at every table in a great way. So I think that is the end outcome. But thanks for that question. And by the way, that question was not planted. I don't even know who you are. But thanks for all the advertisement here. Anyone else? Any other question? Yep. Okay. Last one in that case.
Just to make sure it's, what you said. The entire panel talked about the importance of data. Is Indian restaurant industry ready for data science? Because we have a data science practice, but the struggle is, everybody is concerned about what they think it as an, expense. So is India restaurant industry ready for data science? Because the data is available in multiple buckets. It's available in form of a point of sale, it's available in form of a CRM, it's available in form of an accounting. So is there India ready to invest for data science and see it as a long-term ROI?
Okay, so I'll take that. So yes, data is something which all of us look at, be it in a newspaper, be it in a sales report. Data is something which I don't think anybody who's running a restaurant has never looked at data, be it in consumer feedbacks. Is there something available out there that can do it for us? Yes, there's definitely software as a service available in the market that can do that heavy lifting for us and just give us a newspaper to read. And I think that's the solution which we should be looking at, rather than building in-house capabilities, is looking at software as a service that can do that job for us.
Thank you, everyone. Mini, do we have time for a last question, or should we call it George? That's it? Okay, you can ask your question later on to the panelists. You're most welcome to do that. But thank you very much, everyone. Thanks to my panelists. Amazing, amazing stuff. Thanks a lot.